Girls, what time is it?
Adventure time!
Oh, we're missing Clara. She fell asleep already, huh? Oh, there she is. Clara, what time is it? Nope, we don't.
Nap time.
Girls, where are we going?
St. George in Arizona.
That's right. We're going to go on a Canyoneering Friends reunion. How excited are you?
So excited! So excited!
Great. Let's go.
Bye. Bye.
Here's all of the things that we're going to be putting in the back of our car. We have some canyoneering gear here and shoes and a wetsuit in this bag. This is a cooler with our food. My technology bags of cameras and laptops and whatnot. Pack and play for a friend and all the other kids' bags and whatnot. And then up here is our bedding bag for the kids. You ready and excited, Lucy? And here is the trunk packed up. We've got the cooler here, some trays for food. We're going to be cooking, a bunch of bags and things stacked up in there, and my wetsuit and adventure backpacks and kids backpacks, etc. And I can still see out the back. Are you excited, girls?
Yeah, do.
Girls, what are you doing?
Waiting for the rain.
I think the rain just finished. Being in a drought, the girls don't see rain very often anymore, sadly. The car is currently sitting at 99%. According to the Tesla navigation, we're heading down here to St. George, and so we're going to be stopping here in Beaver to supercharge along the way. It's estimating that we'll be arriving at 11% and that we'll charge for 25 minutes before we then continue on to our destination. So we're going to get on the road. Before leaving town, we went through the car wash, then hit the road. The drive to the Beaver Supercharger took 2 hours and 16 minutes and used 95% of our battery, or 73.84 kilowatt hours, to drive 174 miles. At 11 cents per kilowatt hour, which is the residential rate for electricity in our area, this drive could have cost us $8.12, but this electricity was completely supplied by our house rooftop solar panels. Alright, we're just arriving at the Beaver Supercharger, and the car is arriving at 4% state of charge. This is the first time that we've been to this supercharger location since they added a whole bunch of charging stalls. So these here on the left, this 4 right here are the original 4. Those were here when we first got our Tesla, and just those 4. Then they expanded and added these 4 on this side, and that was awesome when they did that. And now they added 20 something stalls. And these are version 3 superchargers, so you can see the signs up there on top that they're all 250 kilowatts, no more shared circuits. We love this. So yeah, that's exciting. No more bottlenecks at Beaver. Oh, and there's 4 more over here. That's just fantastic. Ironically, we have never been to this supercharger location before and had 0 other Teslas here at all. And now that is the case. There is not a single other Tesla, and yet we have a gazillion options of charging stalls to park in. That's just funny. All right, let's see what this version 3 supercharger can output. Looks like our car is getting up to 128 kilowatts, which is fantastic. We'll see how long it stays there though. Our car in theory will get up to 130, and we've seen it as high as 131 once long ago. But yeah, 128 sustained for this long, even though it's only been a few seconds, is actually pretty good. And we're already up to 6%. So we're going to be here for, it looks like, about 25 minutes, and then we'll get back on the road. Oh, it's even up to 129 kilowatts. There are now a total of 32 charging stalls here in Beaver. This is the biggest supercharger location in Utah now, and it's also a very popular thoroughfare, and so it's justified, although right now it's not. But definitely is a great thing that we are not going to have to worry about congestion here at the Beaver Supercharger anymore. Back in the day, to expand this location a little bit, they actually installed some chargers right here on some pallets that were like 70 kilowatt charge rate chargers. So then they added these 4 over here, and now that we have 32. Girls, what did you get?
We got 3 squeaky.
Yeah? Are you so excited to eat that? Oh, that's exciting. What'd you get? Exciting. We are down to 49 kilowatt charge rate. The battery's up to 57%, 50 minutes to get to 100%. Right now it estimates that we will arrive at our destination with 22%, and that's more than enough. So we're gonna get going. What did you think of your break here?
What did you get?
Squeaky cheese. I'm going to take the whole bag and stuff it in my mouth. And bye.
We charged at the Beaver Supercharger for 28 minutes, adding 52% to our battery, or 37.77 kilowatt hours. The cost for electricity at this supercharger at this time was 28 cents per kilowatt hour, so this charge would have cost us $10.64 if we didn't have free supercharging. The drive to St. George took 1 hour and 16 minutes to drive 101 miles, which used 46% of our battery, or 35.5 kilowatt hours. Our end destination for this trip was actually an Airbnb rental in Cane Beds, Arizona, and as you can see on this map, there are no nearby superchargers. I also checked PlugShare to see if there was a slower level 2 charger in the area, and there wasn't. I knew we'd at least be able to charge from a standard 1.4 kilowatt household outlet at the rental, which adds 3 miles per hour to our Model S. But as we know from previous experiences, that is a very slow way to charge. The one-way distance from the St. George Supercharger to this rental is 50.7 miles, and on a full charge our car reports 252 rated miles of range, so we have more than enough range to get there and back. However, we were joining 5 other families at this rental, and we didn't know how much driving our friends might want to do while there. We had some plans to do activities in the area, such as going to Zion National Park or the Coral Pink Sand Dunes, but those plans were not highly solidified. Anytime we're going into uncertainty like this, we don't want our electric car to limit us from being able to do all of the same things as our friends, all of whom were driving gas-powered vehicles. So I tried to be as charged up at all times as possible. In any case, I was kind of stressed going into the situation, knowing we were driving into remote desert with friends who might want to drive long distances, doing hikes or other adventures in the greater area. It's raining real hard. This is the hardest rain we've ever driven in this car, and definitely the hardest rain that we've ever experienced on any road trip that I've made a video about on YouTube. So yeah, this is pretty fun. We've arrived at the house in St. George we're staying at, and as you can see, it is raining real hard. Oh, thunder. What do you think, girls? How was the drive down here? We ended up arriving here at 12% on the battery. It did use more energy because of the rain and the headwinds and stuff like that. So we're gonna unload the car, and then I'm going to go to Supercharger and charge up the battery. Alright, I've unloaded the girls and Jessica. They're gonna go to bed, and I'm gonna go to the Supercharger in St. George, and it is showing reduced service, and I don't know why. So I have to just say okay. I could potentially come down here to this supercharger at the convention center. I'm going to go to the convention center charger even though it's only 75 kilowatts because I want to have a shorter distance from there back home to preserve as much charge as I can. And also, if the other one's charge rate is reduced, then it might be 75 anyway, and it's farther away, so I'm just going to go to the closer one. Alright, I've arrived at the convention center supercharger, and the charge rate is not looking good. It keeps going up and down. So I'm going to keep monitoring this and see what I want to do. But that's unfortunate. I was hoping it would just peg 75 kilowatts right away. And also what's unfortunate is there is a internal combustion engine car right here in front of me. You can't really see it very well. So that spot is iced, and then there are 2 Teslas charging in the other 2 spots. Well, looks like I chose poorly. The charge rate was at 36 kilowatts and it wasn't going up, so I'm going to drive now another 10 minutes up to the northern supercharger, and hopefully it's faster than 36 kilowatts. I've arrived at the other supercharger, and hallelujah, it's a faster charge rate. We'll see how high it gets, but it's faster than the 36 that I was getting at the convention center location. And at this rate, oh, look at that. Yeah, that's perfect. Should have just come here straight away. In any case, it looks like I'll be here for another 55 minutes before it gets up to 90%, and then I'll drive back to the house that we're staying in, and there I'll plug it into a standard household socket, and it will hopefully get up to 100% by the time we leave tomorrow, and frankly, I'm sure it will. I have been here for a little while. The car is up to 91% now, and we're down to 14 kilowatt charge rate, and at this rate, we're going to be arriving back at the house at 89%. So I'm going to unplug and go. Driving to the convention center charger took 2% of the battery, and after 1% I abandoned it and moved on to the St. George Supercharger 6 minutes north, or 3.8 miles, and that took 3% of the battery to get there because it's all uphill. Upon arrival, the battery was down to 8%, and after charging for 1 hour and 14 minutes it had charged up to 92%, which added 60.52 kilowatt hours to the battery, which would have cost $16.94. I then drove 9.3 miles back to the house we stayed in, which took 4% of the battery, or 2.95 kilowatt hours, over 16 minutes. There at the house, I plugged the car into a standard 15 amp household outlet, which charged at 12 amps or 1.4 kilowatts overnight for 9 hours and 45 minutes to get to 100% from 88%. Alright, I've got the car plugged in. You can see here this is the mobile connector that is going around to the back of the house. It's at 88%, and it's estimating that it'll be 11 hours of charging at this 1 kilowatt charge rate to get up to 100%. And right now it is 11:09 p.m. and so this will finish at around 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, which should be fine. Alright, it's the next morning. The car got up to 100% at about 9 a.m. and then I drove somewhere and then I came back and plugged it in, and now it's at 98%. And at this point, it would still take another almost 2 hours. This is the connection that we have here this morning. So this is plugged into the car. This is the cable. Go along over here, and then we have the mobile connector. You can see the green lines going down there. And that is connected here to a NEMA 515 outlet. This is just a regular extension cord, heavy duty though, meant for like shops and whatnot, and definitely capable of handling this load. Going over the fence here, and then this is the closest outside outlet that I was able to find right there. So we're gonna unplug and get on the road. Our first stop after leaving the house was to get some lunch at In-N-Out, and the line was crazy long and took forever to get our food and get started driving to Cane Beds, Arizona. The drive there took 1 hour and 11 minutes to drive 44 miles, which used 32% of the battery, or 25.4 kilowatt hours. And we're just arriving at the Airbnb. It's right over there. We are arriving at 64%. I guess technically we're at 63%. And it had estimated that we'd be here at 70%, but we also were in line at In-N-Out forever, so that didn't help anything sitting in the 96-degree heat with AC on. You can see here there's a sign they have that says Red Cliffs. Right here on the edge of the Red Cliffs, so that's fitting. Looks really cool. This Red Cliffs Ranch Airbnb was a really cool place to stay, with plenty of parking for our 6 vehicles, and it has an amazing backdrop of these red cliffs. It was very accommodating of the host to let our group of 11 adults and 11 children stay at the house together. It had a nice large area surrounding it that the kids loved exploring. There was a secondary apartment on the side of it which someone else was also renting while we were there. It had a picnic table in the front of the house and a seating area in the back. There were some petroglyphs up on the rocks above the house which we hiked up to, which I'll show you more about later in this video. It was an extra nice touch that they had a flag on the cliff above the house. Here's a video tour of the Red Cliffs Ranch house. There's one front door here and another one over there. Let's go out. I'm able to slowly charge my Tesla on a standard household outlet that is located right there. We are at 64% on the battery, and so it's estimating that it would take about 22 hours to charge up to 90% from that point. And so we're not going to go anywhere for a while, so this might work just fine for us, and we'll see how it goes. Hey, Lucy's swinging next. Hey. Woo! Yeah! Good job, Lucy. Okay, hold it up high. There you go.
Right here in this
okay, go ahead. Ready? There you go. Good job, Lydia. You ready for that?
Really?
Woo! Lucy, let me see it.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness. At first light the next morning, a group of us headed out to descend Pine Creek Slot Canyon right on the eastern boundary of Zion National Park. The drive there was an hour and 5 minutes to go 47 miles, and I carpooled there with the Canyoneering group. Our Tesla had finished charging up to 94% by 6:11 a.m., so if Jessica and our kids had come, we easily had the range we could have driven. Jessica did end up driving during the day on a kid-friendly hike, and she used up 16% of the battery round trip. Today we descended Pine Creek Canyon, which is a relatively simple canyon, and it's very easy to access and beautiful, so it's a very popular canyon. Canyoneering is the sport of exploring and descending a canyon using a range of techniques, including but not limited to hiking, scrambling, sliding, stemming, down climbing, rappelling, jumping, and swimming. Our group of friends used to get together canyoneering many times a year between 2009 and 2012. Some years our group was canyoneering every weekend for 6 weeks straight, when the weather was good and it fit into our schedules. Now, a decade later, we still get together periodically when we can. Canyoneering is about the only way to see many wonderful places in nature, and we've descended many varieties of canyons, from dry and sandy to wet and slippery. I'll put a card above to the last Canyoneering Friends reunion we had in Cedar City, Utah. And I'll also include a card to the video I made in 2011 when we rescued a group of people in the subway, also here in Zion National Park, which was a crazy experience.
Oh. Yeah, that's good. That'll work good. Anthony, you go next, bud.
Yeah. The last time I descended Pine Creek, there was a lot of cold standing water in it, so I was prepared for that, and I was wearing my 7mm thick wetsuit, but it turned out to be mostly dry this time. Yeah, Thomas.
Oh my gosh.
Great execution.
Let it cool down. Pull this over there out of his way. There. Water's flowing. Yeah, you're right. Down that little. Let's go. You got it. Come on, man.
it's opening up.
What?
It's opening up. Hey, Thomas, catch me. It's cold.
This water's so much clearer when you come out of here.
Yeah. Beautiful. Hey, you can see up there is an air vent for the tunnel. Right in the back of Matt's truck. Hey!
Well, we came all the way from that crack. Yeah. That's a long way to go.
This is the coral pink sand dunes. Upon returning to the Red Cliffs Ranch, the kids did a fun activity where they made their own taffy. Which one did you make? It looks like a piece of wood. Is that what you meant for it to be looking like? Good job. It looks great. You want one? You can have a bite of one.
Your hands are getting too slippery? Well, yours looks really good, Lucy. It's light. See how light colored it is? That means that it's about done.
We're headed out to go on a fun day adventure hike with all of the kids and all the families. Looking here at the car, it is estimating that we'll arrive at this destination at 89% on the battery. It is a 23-minute drive or 11-mile drive, and the car is currently at 95%. The hike we chose to do is called Water Canyon, and it is back over the border in Utah, 11.5 miles north of Cane Beds, Arizona. The drive there took 12 minutes and used 8% of the battery, or 6 kilowatt hours, to drive that 11.5 miles. The last couple of miles were gravel or dirt road and in good enough condition that all of our vehicles were able to drive there just fine, albeit a lot dustier than when we started. We've arrived at the Water Canyon trailhead and we're about to start hiking up it. Are you excited, Lucy? Yeah. Sarah, that's a great smile. It is.
Like, why? I think it's that one.
Yep.
Is that a fake one?
Yeah, that way's the better route.
Is it what?
Daddy, is that fake?
No, it's real. That's the mountain.
It looks like a space.
It's the better way to go that way.
It's just the way it is, Lucy. You think that wall looks like a painting?
Because it is a space. Here's some blackberries, girl. There's shells.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. It's a great sour face, Lucy.
I'm going to climb up and down.
I'm sorry, we got friends.
Oh, was there? We hiked most of the way up the wider part of the canyon. Then Cliff and I hiked quickly up higher in the canyon to where it begins to narrow down to make sure we weren't missing anything interesting, since none of us had ever been here before. After checking out the view, we then headed back to the bigger group, and as you can see, the terrain was a bit steeper and rougher up higher, and the kids weren't interested in exploring farther. They were having a good time taking a break in a nice large area of shade with some blackberry bushes surrounding it, which had varying degrees of ripeness. We then retraced our steps back down the canyon to the flatter area where the water began to pool so the kids could play in the water.
We're gonna go in the water. Are you excited?
Setting it right there. Dropping it in.
Oh, on your face. What do you think?
Fun.
How you doing?
Does that water feel really good in this hot day? After the hot hike, the kids were delighted to be able to play in the water, and frankly, kids are happy to play in water regardless of prior circumstances. After roughly an hour of playing in the water, making dams, mud cakes, or just jumping in the water, we packed up and hiked out of the canyon and drove back to the Red Cliffs Ranch. What did you think of the water canyon?
It was so much fun. I am soaked.
Yeah, you can't really see it on the camera, but she's completely wet head to toe. The only thing that didn't get wet was your hat, huh? Because you took it off. What do you think, Clara? I don't even know what she said.
Say words. Did you have fun playing in the dirt?
Goody moody.
It was dirty muggy.
Dirty moogie? Look at her go! Clara's in the lead.
Never stop her again.
Now we're just
Clara! Wait just a sec, please.
You silly. We're almost to the car now, girls. And the car's charge is at 86%. And we are going to be arriving back at the Red Cliffs Ranch at 81% estimated at this point. Girls, what did you think of the hike?
fun. Stupendous.
The drive home took 21 minutes to drive 11.5 miles and used 8% of our battery, or 6 kilowatt hours. Alright, we got back to the house. We're at 79%. I plugged in at 1 kilowatt and it's estimating 11 hours to go to 90%. That seems like a long time, but it is really hot and I do have cabin overheat protection turned on. So we'll see how long it takes. Dinner's ready!
Yeah.
Behind us here is the house we're staying in. And right behind the house is this beautiful red cliffs bluff up here. We heard there's some petroglyphs up there, so we're gonna see if we can climb up there to see them.
Cane beds is not large.
No. It's bigger than I thought.
That's a long hike.
What do you think, Lucy?
It was cool.
How old is it?
Still is cool, huh?
Guys?
After a few minutes of looking at the Petroglyphs, we then began our downward trek. Oh, that's the same rock that moved when we were coming up. You alright?
Yeah, those are leg lifts.
Scratch your leg a little.
Pick up your pelvis.
It's
Hold it for 5
easy
seconds.
for
Put
me
it
because
down.
I can slide on
And
my
all
own.
these are 3x10.
When I was in my rock climbing class, I think me and Veda were the only girls in that class.
Oh, really? After the sunset hike to see the Petroglyphs, we had fun hanging out with our friends and playing games for the rest of the evening. We are ready to go. It is 8:55 a.m. Arizona time, so it is nearly 10 a.m. Utah time. And the car is up to 100%, it says, but it does show 15 more minutes to get, I guess, completely to 100%, whatever that means. In any case, we're going to unplug and go here shortly, and we're going to be hitting up the Beaver Supercharger on the way home. But we're actually not going to be taking this route that the car defaults to because, well, this is the most quick route, but we are going to take the scenic route. So we're going to, here, I'll cancel this route there, and we'll zoom in on where we actually are intending to go. So looking here at the map, this red dot is where we currently are. We're going to be taking a road that comes over here past the coral pink sand dunes, and then we'll be coming up here to the Mount Carmel Junction, and we will be coming back across this road here, which you can see a light gray line there, and that is Zion National Park. Zion National Park begins around over here. This is the checkerboard mesa, and then right here you can see all of the switchbacks back and forth in there. We'll be going down through that, through the tunnel, and then back down into Zion Valley and Springdale, and then we'll be taking the highway back over and up on I-15 back home. This drive took 22 minutes to drive 39 miles, and that used 9% of the battery, or 7.32 kilowatt hours. Alright, we stopped here at the coral pink sand dunes, and that is them in real life. We're going to go check it out a little bit, and we got here at 90% on the battery. Feels really good, huh?
It's still nice.
Because it's not hot.
Yeah.
We're here on a cloudy day, which is awesome.
Yeah.
The sand is really fine and not full of gravel or other things. Hey girls, it's like a giant sandbox, huh?
I'm gonna empty out my shoes. In the sand.
I just carry your shoes like me.
And I don't
Hey, you girls having fun? Is this so cool? It is really deep and smooth, huh? Beware. It's a pretty good sledding run.
I see them.
Yeah. Hey guys! Good hiking. It's really cool. Like I liked this more than I thought I would.
Yeah, we've been having fun.
Especially since
It's over, guys.
Yes.
If
We
it
had-
were 110 degrees, I don't think I'd be here still.
We had the exact same thought. Go to the top, Clara.
I can't.
You're too tired.
Anymore.
It is really hard, huh?
Yeah.
Oh hey!
Hey,
We have arrived!
Woo! Well, time to go home.
Okay, I'm gonna slide down the hill.
You're gonna slide down the hill?
These dunes are pretty cool, and I do see a tiny tinge of pink, but it's really mostly just sand color. Because you get sand all over your face and in your mouth. Okay, we'll wash your face off when we get to the car. Well, there's the girls all the way down at the bottom already, rolling in the sand. The girls had a lot of fun. I would definitely give it 2 thumbs up for just at least stopping by and playing a little bit in the sand if you happen to be in this area. If you have ATVs, then all the better. Although this could be pretty uncomfortable if it was really sunny.
Don't the raindrops look so cool on the sand?
Uh-huh. They look like little...
glad that we came? Whoa. Look at her go. Look at her go. The next drive from the coral pink sand dunes into Zion National Park to where we stopped to explore in the checkerboard mesa was included in the prior stats because the car didn't have any data reception, so it didn't know we stopped. However, you can see here in the time lapse that the battery was down to 77% when we stopped at the checkerboard mesa. Hey Lucy, where are we?
I can't remember.
Zion National Park. We just barely got started. We're in the checkerboard mesa still. This is our view. Lucy and I found this really cool, colorful wash. What do you think, Lucy?
It's pretty.
It is very pretty. We then continued on through the eastern entrance of Zion National Park through the long tunnel. We happened to arrive during the time when the large vehicles are being allowed to pass through the tunnel. They changed the tunnel into a one-lane road so that the tall vehicles can drive down the center, since the roof of the tunnel is arched and thus taller in the center. This makes for long waits on both sides of the tunnel, which luckily wasn't as long as I have seen it in the past. There are certainly much more boring places to be caught in traffic. We enjoyed the scenery as we proceeded through the checkerboard mesa, through the tunnel, down the switchbacks on the other side, and through the Zion Canyon to the visitor center. Along this route is where we came out of the Pine Creek Canyon. There are hikes along the way, as you can see from all the hikers coming and going. We've arrived at the visitor center for Zion National Park. Right now the car is saying we to go to Cedar City at 51%. Right now the car is at 77% state of charge, and it's saying that if we were to navigate to Beaver, we would arrive at 21%. So we're going to be just fine, and we'll just go there. And what's awesome is they have some electric vehicle parking spots here. So after looking at the sign a little bit more closely, it looks like we'd have to get a code to make this work inside. So we'll have to go inside and see what that looks like. Girls, do you know what this is?
Yeah.
This is a map of where we are, this whole canyon. We are back from the visitor center at Zion National Park, and we're gonna head up to the Beaver Supercharger and get charged up, and then we'll head on home. The drive from the visitor center to the Beaver Supercharger took an hour and 34 minutes and used 62% of the battery, or 48 kilowatt hours, to drive the 109 miles there. Alright, we just arrived at the Beaver Supercharger and we're plugged in. 127 kilowatts at 15% is pretty fantastic in my book, but as you can see it is dropping fairly quickly right there. And it's been raining slightly, otherwise it's been a pretty smooth sailing trip. Let's get out of the car, girls, and go wander around and stretch our legs, okay? Lydia, what are you doing right there?
Getting warm.
Is it really warm?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some stormy weather going on right now. Got a nice cool breeze coming off of that storm.
Yeah, I'm trying to skip this rock.
Yeah? Let's see it.
Skip a rock.
Alright, the car just barely told us it's time to go, and you can see we're at 87%, and it's saying it would be 25 minutes to get to 100%, but we're not doing that. We're down to 23 kilowatts, which is quite slow, and it's estimating that we will get up to near our house at 5%, which is a little too low for our liking, and we don't really want to keep waiting for the charge. So actually we're thinking we're going to just stop at the Nephi Supercharger. Might as well get some free energy so we get home not zero.
What was your favorite thing we did at this Supercharger stop?
Playing in the water.
What water?
The water.
What was it?
Was it a giant puddle?
Yeah. My favorite part was squeaky and playing in the water. My favorite part was...
Alright, let's get on the road. The charge at the Beaver Supercharger took 1 hour and 3 minutes to add 72% to the battery, which is 52.78 kilowatt hours. If we paid for supercharging, that would have cost us $15. We then continued driving to the Nephi Supercharger, which took 1 hour and 27 minutes to drive 115 miles, using 57% of the battery, or 44 kilowatt hours. Well, there's an accident up there. You can probably barely see it right there. There's some emergency lights. In any case, people are getting out of their car to see what's going on. You can see it down behind us in the mirror there as well. So I don't know how long we'll be here, but we're at 35%. We're 9 minutes away from the Nephi Supercharger, so we'll have to wait this out.
You see those crumpled up cars?
Alright, we just plugged in here at the Nephi Supercharger, and the charge rate is up to 74 kilowatts. I missed it at the peak, but it was probably in the 80s. At this point, we are going to be arriving at the place near our house at 7%. So we're just here to get some extra free energy, and so we'll see how long we care to be here for, but we can unplug pretty soon and continue on our way. But at this rate, we would have to be here for an hour and 5 minutes to get to 100%. And if we cared to get to, I don't know, let's say 80%, just as an example, it's saying 35 minutes. We're at 79%, so we're just about to unplug and go. We're down to 33 kilowatts. And at this point, it's estimating that we'll arrive home at about 53% battery. And we'll be driving for another 49 minutes. So we're going to get on the road. The Nephi charge lasted 41 minutes, and we added 50% to the battery, or 36 kilowatt hours. The drive home took 50 minutes and used 27%, or 21 kilowatt hours of the battery to drive the 58 miles. For the entire trip, we drove a total of 707 miles, which used 279 kilowatt hours. For all the supercharging, not including the Nephi Supercharger at the end, since it was just an extra energy charge that wasn't needed for the trip, we charged a total of 156 kilowatt hours, which at 28 cents per kilowatt hour would have cost us $43.72. The remainder of 123 kilowatt hours were charged from the houses we stayed in, and at 11 cents per kilowatt hour that could have cost us $13.53. This total trip could have cost us $57.25, but was actually free since the energy came from our rooftop solar, purchasing a Tesla with free supercharging, and included in the rental cost of the Airbnb. We are home. So that was a fun drive, taking our car down to Arizona. And in hindsight, it ended up working out just fine for us. But going into it, I was nervous that we wouldn't be able to charge our car very well at the Airbnb rental. We didn't have fast charging there. We only had the standard household outlet, but we ended up driving less than we could have. There were times where the car was sitting there not charging. And so we could have driven more while we were there, but if we had needed to drive a lot more, that could have been a problem because we definitely didn't have any way to charge quickly there at the house. Here at our house, I have plugged in the car, and we're charging at our normal 9 kilowatt charge rate, and we arrived here at 53%, and it'll be 2 hours and 25 minutes to get up to 80%. So what did you think, Lucy? Was that a fun trip? Yeah. Was it worth going? Great. And I hope this has been helpful to see what a Tesla is capable of in varied situations, going through, in this case, remote desert areas and regions, and charging off of what electrical access we have. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.